Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Data Cloud Now. We're currently in New York City at Advertising Week, where I'm delighted to be joined by Gerry Bavaro, Chief Strategy Officer at Dentsu. Gerry, so excited for this conversation.
Yeah, me as well.
Let's jump into it. Dentsu is an integrated growth and transformation partner to the world's leading organizations. With over 110 years of innovation, how has your data strategy evolved over the years, and how is it positioning Dentsu to meet the needs of the next generation of consumers?
Yeah, so look, 110 years, a long time. We're really proud of the latter part of that 110 years, about 20 years now, our data strategy and our focus on data. If you look back 15, 20 years ago, when competitors were using panel-based data from partner sources, what we did is we built the largest marketing panel of any agency or marketing services business. We did that because we needed to understand consumers globally. That's 400,000 panelists. That's 65 countries on coverage. That's 10,000 plus attributes, motivational, demographic, lifestyle based, and it's integrated with all of our tools. We've had to evolve that strategy though. And in 2016, we launched M1, right? Now Merkury, our data platform. First people-based platform for media audiences and targeting. We patented that. Very much based on PII-based data, right? PII-based data being emails, names, addresses. Certainly here in the US, you can leverage that data, but privacy regulations, deprecation of third-party cookies and third-party data with GDPR outside of the US had to shift our strategy. So now Merkury, as our global data platform, certainly utilizes, like in the US and some other markets, PII-based data, but it's utilizing the best level of data possible, and that's what we had to evolve towards. So using our CCS panel, Consumer Connection Survey, like I mentioned, created 15, 20 years ago, and then other data sources from leading partners and our own. But now if you look at where we've gotten to with that strategy, our strategy is to know people best and use data and AI to drive growth and new business opportunities for clients. And it's all about first-party data for clients. It's about leveraging their first-party data, growing it, enhancing it, and connecting it to every experience. And certainly Snowflake is helping us do that. We have native identity resolution and third-party data enhancement, consumer data enhancement through Snowflake. And that's really the strategy, is helping our clients to behave more like the Amazons, the Netflixes of the world, the Ubers, right? Build that universe of first-party data, use AI and advanced modeling and segmentation methods to get to the closest and most accurate representation of a person and plug that into all channels and all experiences.
Great perspective. Thank you for that, Gerry. As a global agency, you're uniquely positioned to observe trends across markets. What emerging patterns are you noticing that might reshape the advertising landscape over the next few years?
Yeah, I think, one trend that we're seeing quite a bit of is more RFPs than ever from clients to establish an enterprise ID across the entire organization. One single source of truth, online and offline, right? Who's coming to my website? Who's being reached in media? Who's being reached through CRM, email, direct mail? Who's being reached through service, right? That is something really important, because if you don't understand your customer and you don't understand your prospects, then you're in big trouble, because the platforms will change. The CDP, right? The new email platform, media is changing, right? How do you plug into media all of that data? But if you have that owned and controlled and consistent growing first-party ID that's across the enterprise, it really is that bridge. It really allows you to lead in the market. And look, it's no secret, the leaders of virtually every single vertical are those who are first-party data rich and have identity at the center at a very large universe inside the org. I'd say a second trend is our clients in media really want media plugged into their MarTech, their first-party data, their customer universe, and the platforms that orchestrate experiences in other channels on the site, right? They realize that the site is so important. We're bringing users over, we're bringing audiences over to our digital experiences. And then we have this CDP that's triggering an experience, a promotion, right? A contextually relevant offer. So we're seeing that as a big trend. It's not just about media, it's about total experience, right? Media plus.
Overarching.
Yes, absolutely. And then I'd say the third trend that we're seeing a lot of right now, and we love this, and you're certainly helping us with this, is the desire for zero copy and zero share of data to agencies, internal, lines of business, service providers, partners. What that looks like is less of files being shared back and forth, right? The age of SFTP and S3 buckets for sharing large amounts of data makes legal and privacy in organizations pretty nervous, right? So privacy regulations and more strict guidelines around data sharing are making certainly that zero share, zero copy capability with things like Snowflake data shares and our native identity resolution and data enhancement capabilities really important. And again, that's an increasing trend, is being as privacy safe as possible with data share.
Great to hear, Gerry. And Dentsu is present in over 115 countries. How does the Data Cloud power business outcomes for your global customer base?
So, the AI Data Cloud is certainly complementary to what we've built as our generative AI product. So our generative AI product called GenCX is a very intuitive chat-based interface. It's pointed to the client's first-party data, with Merkury being that consistent ID on the client's first-party data and the enhancement of that with thousands of attributes, right? In Snowflake, GenCX allows for faster insights, much faster and more accurate models and segments, right? Who are my audiences that I need to go after? Make a lookalike model, a predictive model off of my data. But it's an open and very flexible generative AI platform. Although it's built on our models, right? LLMs and LKMs, it's very open to plug and play with wider models. So we think of AI Data Cloud and Cortex, right? In Snowflake, we foresee that will plug in and allow GenCX, which is getting integrated into the media and the creative workflow, that our employees that are building plans, generating insights, building audiences, targeting audiences, pulling and pushing the levers to optimize campaigns, will have the best of both worlds, right? They can have our GenCX product in play and very bespoke throughout that workflow as AI that's helping assist with the process, and even many times build the audiences, develop all those insights, give you back the outcome so you can make a decision in a campaign. But with AI Data Cloud and the power of what Snowflake brings to the table, plugging right into that, right? So it reduces that risk of having multiple models. It's very clean. It's pointed to our client's first-party data, and it's also pointed to that enhancement of the data and the workflow that is, being powered by these platforms and AI inside of Dentsu Media and Dentsu Creative.
And just ease of use across the
Total
board.
ease of use, yeah. Total ease of use around that.
Gerry, how does this technology allow you to balance global strategies with local market nuances based off of your scale? You have such a unique perspective on that.
What we're using AI for increasingly is the ability to, in multiple markets, have a view of the customer or the prospect, the wider consumer, that with regulations is a more AI-generated profile of that audience, right? So AI can take that audience, and where you were very limited in being able to look at that audience in a certain region or a local market versus an audience in another region or market, right? Because the data is sitting in one market. There's privacy regulations that say you can't pluck that out. You can't use that PII-based data from the client and bang it up against or overlap it with data from another market. We love that AI is able to create those, for lack of a better term, synthetic profiles, right? And AI-generated audiences. So now you can look in totality at a global audience, or you can take an audience that is performing well in the US, but it is the definition of a global audience, right? That you want to target in media or CRM or on your site. or it's an audience that you recognize inside of your customer database, your customer data environment on Snowflake. AI is making it so easy for us to bring that to a level that is completely privacy safe. You're not passing data across, country lines or region lines. And it starts to get to then also the ability to bring in other signals. So AI is able to much more quickly and much more accurately and in a better way look at context, look at culture, look at what's moving the market from a perspective of market research. All of those signals are important. It's not just about looking at some email data, the email performance, the media performance. It's all of these signals that the AI is being utilized for now.
It's that big picture view versus that segment approach.
Big picture, up a level, not the actual identifiers and data sources that are sitting in different places, but a level of that virtual, right, or synthetic layer of audiences that gives analytics folks and insights folks the ability to do a lot more and remain privacy safe.
Thank you for that, Gerry. I want to bring it back to current day. We're currently in New York City for Advertising Week, and there is a lot of discussion about the future of data and advertising. What key takeaways would you like to share with the audience about effectively harnessing data in today's complex media environment?
I'd say a big takeaway, I mentioned it earlier, is that you shouldn't overlook the value of enterprise identity, right? It's something that I think, as I said, is increasing. But if you truly own and grow and enhance identifiers in your organization and they're first party to you as an organization, then it's gold, right? It becomes the most strategic asset in an organization. There's always going to be new tools, new platforms. There's always going to be new media environments. As I was walking in, saw Netflix ads, right? There's going to be more, and there's going to be constant change in the industry with privacy regulations and deprecation of identifiers and data to freely understand who a consumer is, where they are, what channels they're engaging with, right? But when you build and grow first-party data and you assign that master ID to it, and it crosses online and offline, it crosses lines of business and channels, then you truly can start to behave like, the leaders across different industries that are very much first-party data rich. So I would say, there's a lot going on here. Identity is being talked about. There's a lot in terms of AI, but what are you pointing that AI to? How are you consolidating all of this data? How are you confident that it is Gerry, right? And Gerry as a profile can be plugged in and utilized across any experience.
Well, Gerry, thank you so much for your time and insights. I know we've covered a lot here today, but before we wrap, what's next for Dentsu and what excites you most about where we're going from an advertising standpoint?
So what's next with Dentsu is certainly the ownership of data and the growth of data for clients. It's a big focus for us. It's obviously why we're partnered. And also what's next for us is much more in terms of AI, Gen CX, and that plug and play model that we have, leveraging AI Data Cloud from Snowflake. And that being able to drive the best audiences possible, the best intelligence possible, us knowing people best, whether that's your customer population or a population of consumers across any market. And again, having that flexible and open model to plug that into any systems, any MarTech, right? Any media partners that you utilize. We're very flexible, although we have Merkury as our proprietary platform, IDs, data. But we really stand behind that fact that, at Dentsu, we have to be open and flexible. The market is changing so much.
Well, great to hear, Gerry. Thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you.
And for the audience watching, I'm Ryan Green with Data Cloud Now in New York City at Advertising Week. We'll see you soon.